Land Review is back, people, and here we are to talk about the Rampage. We've seen a ton of people finding that the Rampage in Monster Hunter Rise is confusing, chaotic, and generally a mess. I've experienced way too many people getting the chain cannon on the first line or even activating Elder Fugen for regular enemies. So let me help all of you understand how to play the Rampage a lot better and what you should use where. First, let's understand what it is. The Rampage isn't a slaying quest, except maybe for the final boss. Every other monster just needs to take enough damage for them to decide that maybe going on isn't such a good idea and go home. So to keep your battlefield under control, you have to be able to take down enemies rather quickly. Doing so also levels up your stronghold. When it does, you gain access to more turrets, or the available ones get stronger. This way you can keep up with the damage you need to deal out as the horde of monsters grow in number. There are also side objectives you can achieve to get bonus points for your stronghold and raise your grade at the end. So to play the Rampage well, let's understand what your tools are and what your game plan should look like while using them. The first ones would be the Ballistae and the Bamboo Mines. The mines explode when they are stepped on and then reload over time. Not much else to explain there. But a lot of people seem to sleep on the Ballistae because they don't seem to do much damage. But when you level them up enough, they can do double or even triple damage. But that's not the best part. The Crag Shot is a very reliable way of stunning or flinching almost any monster, and it's pretty much the counter for the green type monsters that try to snipe hunters at a distance. This can be positioned anywhere, but it's doing its job well enough even at the corner areas of the map. Next weapon is the cannon. I know a lot of us like using the cannon, especially with how strong it was from World, and it still is strong, but it doesn't handle everything. It's great for hitting a lot of monsters in small areas, but it has a shorter range, so you'll want to keep it near choke points on the map. One thing players don't seem to realize is that the special shots of the cannon are actually chargeable, and you can shoot normal shots while charging. Just that you can't shoot several types of ammo at the same time, so keep that in mind. It's a great tool for giving Thunderblight on a bunch of enemies, so put it where it can do just that. This also levels up as the stronghold gets to a certain point. After that is a chain cannon. It looks like it can deal a lot of damage, but it kinda depends on who and where you're hitting. It can really only hit one target at a time too. But it does have a way of quickly taking out that one monster knocking at your gate. You can make use of the Silkbind shot as it drags the target you hit right in front of your gun, letting you use the scatter shot most effectively given the range. This kind of installation is best placed near the gate where it can quickly stop blue types, but it's actually a fair counter to green types as well. By the way, auto defenders are okay to place pretty much anywhere. Just remember that they fire at maybe the third of the speed that you can, so don't depend on them for doing a lot of heavy lifting. Except maybe Wyvern Fire Artillery, which you have to point in the direction you want it to shoot, then pick the type of shot you want it to fire. It also needs time to reload its shots. I personally prefer using the shot versus the beam since I normally put these guys in the back row, but they can work for the front line as well. So we're through everything we can use regularly. Let's go over the ones that are a bit more explosive. First of all, Dragonators exist. Their ranges are quite limited but are handy since they're mostly positioned in front of barriers, where monsters tend to clump up. Nothing complicated, press A to hold the Dragonator switch, then A again to activate it. It'll hit anything that's there, and it's really meant for helping you clear waves, so don't hesitate to use it. Pairs great with Dragon Bait. There's also the Counter Gong, which enables the counter signal buff, making your regular weapon attacks increases damage by a factor of 5. With this enabled, a hunter with a good setup can deal as much damage as a split Wyvern shot within a minute, sometimes less. During a Rampage, a much longer counter signal seems to activate automatically when the boss of each wave is present. The rules of exactly when that happens is a bit difficult to pin down. Regardless, when the game tells you that the buff is up, you should all know that it's time to go toe-to-toe with the conductor of chaos that you are trying to quell. The new bad boy introduced in the Rampage is a split Wyvern shot. This is actually a ballistic artillery cannon that you'll have to aim before firing. It can reach far, but its range isn't infinite. After firing the shot, there'll be a second or so of delay before the enormous explosion expels enemies entirely. Well, except maybe for boss monsters. But this is a super handy weapon to have for clearing enemies that are making the fight difficult. To speed up the cooldown of the Dragonator, split Wyvern shot, and pretty much anything else, you can run over to the power kiln and shovel what I think is coal in there. It's a good idea to do this between rounds, but I've also seen other players use this even during battle. Finally, let's go over the limited ones. These can only be used once per quest, so be mindful of when to actually use them. The people of Kamura aren't going to stand idly by and let you fight alone. They can hop in during select parts of each rampage. Why they can't be available the entire time, I'm not sure. Maybe they have a busy schedule, but moving on. Each of them generally launch a powerful attack but have different special effects. Yori, the guy who scouts buddies, will also boost the strength of your Pelicos and Palamutes. Then he'll send some buddies of his own to help out in the fight. He's perfectly fine being set on the ground, particularly on the front lines. Yomogi strengthens the firepower of your installations. She lands one herself and fires at monsters within her range non-stop. It's good to put her on top of walls where she has a good view of many areas of the stage and most importantly the gates. Hinoa and Minoto will attack several times with a considerably long range. Since their attacks can also hit several monsters at the same time, it's best to put them around choke points where enemies tend to cluster around. Master Utsushi will attack monsters around him and might make the weaker ones mountable. He is good at keeping a crowded situation under control, making him ideal to be on the ground. Finally, Elder Fugen simply launches a powerful blow. I'm not sure if there's an extra effect to it, I just haven't noticed it maybe. It also appears to have a limited range. Placing him at the gate seems to be the best and most fitting position for this old man. Don't be too worried about saving them for the last possible moment, as they seem to be only available on the round they appear. If you think you need an extra hand, don't hesitate. Finally, the order of importance in taking out enemies should generally be in this order. Green ranged attackers first, followed by red melee attackers, and lastly blue siege type monsters. That's it. There you go, you are generally armed with the knowledge that you'll mostly be needing in handling a rampage without getting too confused. It'll still take some time getting used to it, but it's fun once you get the hang of it. Good luck with your mounts, everyone. And that's all for our quick guide about making sense of the rampage. I hope you found this useful. If you did, why not give us a like? If you also want to stick around, you can go ahead and subscribe. If you want to see other stuff we post, you'll find it on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Note that I'm trying to make regular streams on Facebook, FYI. Might move to Twitch, not sure. But if you want to see everything we make, you'll find it on RaymaruFiles.com. Anyway, this is Lunchapy. It's been grand. I'll see you guys again.